Good morning. I'm Barry Bryson, and I want to thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. We're continuing our study of the Gospel of Matthew, and we're in chapter 8, and I'll be reading verses 5 through 13. When he had entered Capernaum, the centurion came forward to him, appealing to him, "Lord, my servant is lying paralyzed at home, suffering terribly." And he said to him, "I will come and heal him." But the centurion replied, "Lord, I'm not worthy to have you come under my roof, but only say the word and my servant will be healed. For I too am a man under authority with soldiers under me. I say to one, 'Go,' and he goes, and to another, 'Come,' and he comes, and to my servant, 'Do this,' and he does it." When Jesus heard this, he marveled, and he said to those who followed him, "Truly I tell you, with no one in Israel have I found such faith. I tell you, many will come from the east and west and recline at the table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven, while the sons of the kingdom will be thrown into utter darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." And to the centurion he said, "Go, let it be done for you as you have believed." And the servant was healed that very moment. I love this story so much for so many reasons. There's so much here that we couldn't deal with in 5 or 25 or 55 minutes. Jesus is coming back to Capernaum. This is home base for most of his ministry now. Centurion comes to him. Who is a centurion? A centurion is an enlisted man in the Roman army who is over anywhere between 100 and 600 men. They are well respected in literature, and everyone we meet in the New Testament, in the Gospels and the book of Acts, are good men. Every one of them is. They signed up for 20 years. If they made it through their 20 years, they got a good retirement. Most of them did not last the 20 years before they died. It was hard. It was hard work. They were not allowed to marry and have children during their period of service, and so their household staff would have been their family. And it's not surprising that his trusted servant, mattered to him so much. But it speaks well of him that it mattered to him enough to come to Jesus and to take that action. And it speaks well of him as a military man, a man used to a rough life, that he had a sensitive heart and sensitive faith and was willing to act upon his compassion and his faith. And he comes to Jesus and says, "My servant is very sick and I need you to heal him." And Jesus says, "I will come." That's a great gesture for Jesus to be willing immediately to say, "I will come to your house and go into your house and heal this man." Jews would not do that. Whenever the high priest went to see Pilate to accuse Jesus, Pilate had to come out and stand on the sidewalk to talk to him. Jesus said, "I will go into your house." But the man, because of his great faith, because of his own sense of unworthiness, and maybe because of a bit of respect for Jesus' position as a Jewish teacher, said, "You don't have to do that. I understand authority. I'm a man under authority. I'm a man who exercises authority. And I know that if you say the word, it will be done." And Jesus marveled at this. And to me, that's the best part of the story. Jesus, who can read the hearts of men, Jesus, who is God as well as human, he gets tired, he gets frustrated, and he can be surprised. And he's surprised here. And his heart is warmed here. There are other times when he seems to be almost in awe of the capacity for a human being to be good. Like when Mary anoints his head and feet before his crucifixion. And this is one of those times. Not so much surprised that the man has faith, you know, but that he has such a complete understanding of everything. And it causes Jesus to make a comparison. Listen, this is what you're capable of, and you're not living up to it. And you Jews, so many of you Jews are not going to be saved. And so many of the Gentiles are going to be saved because their minds are open, their hearts are open, their faith is open to accept the truth, and yours is not. And he quotes and refers to the very last words of the book of Isaiah. And Jesus likes to quote that passage and refer back to that passage. He does so 6 times in the book of Matthew and once in the Gospel of Luke. So we've got 7 references in the Gospel where Jesus talks about weeping and gnashing of teeth and takes us back to the final judgment scene at the end of the book of Isaiah, where the worm dies not and the fire isn't quenched, you know. And we find out at the end that at the very moment that Jesus said the servant would be healed, the servant was healed. So we know that Jesus can heal over distances. And we know that the last story that we read where Jesus touched the leper, that touching was something that Jesus wanted to do, not something Jesus needed to do to heal the man. Well, thank you for joining me for this lesson today. Jesus is going to heal a lot of other folks next time we're together. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes.